This week in league, in deciding whether to lower the playing age to under 18, the NRL brings in the industry expert, Corey Harawira-Naira.
Darren Lockyer concedes that the role of his fall guy isn't as enticing as it used to be for off-contract Broncos.
2 cases of the deadly Rona found in Logan, yet Barb is still the undisputed grossest thing to crawl out of there.
Plus, we look ahead to all the action for round 12 of the 2020 NRL season.
All that and more this week in league. Welcome to episode 361 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
We're doing this one Rona style.
We gotta keep them separated.
Yeah, we are being responsible because my kid is homesick with a cold. And it's not really a Rona protocol situation. It's more of, I don't want... Because I felt sick yesterday morning when I woke up, and I've since feel fine. So I must have just sort of been at that tipping point and defeated it through sheer power of manliness. But just in case I'm asymptomatic, I mean, there's no one's got Rona here, but I just don't want to give Stepdad a cold and ruin his blossoming fuck game. Which is going very well for him at the moment, and I don't want to be the guy to fucking I don't want to snot block him.
I gotta say, we are in unprecedented territories here.
So yeah, given the although
I sort of feel that the deal I did with the devil for Penrith's season is having some unintended side effects, and so as long as they keep trudging along, then my fuck game just as goes the Yuri of Cleary, so goes Stepdad's fuck game.
And obviously, the news today is that a spanner has been thrown into the work by some dirty fucking cunts down Logan Way.
Yeah.
Who hopped from Victoria to Sydney, and then Sydney to Brisbane, and were told to self-isolate for 14 days. Didn't self-isolate at all, and in fact were symptomatic for 8 days. At which point they proceeded to go and fucking spread their germs around Orion at Springfield, Grand Plaza at Browns Plains, fucking South Bank. Like these two, they're not. And I know I'm being light on them here, but when I call them diseased cunts, these two fucking diseased cunts are going to be single-handedly responsible for fucking our grand final weekend. You know that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Border shut for New South Wales now as of, I think, immediately leave until Saturday.
As of Saturday.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, exactly.
These fucking bitches.
Yeah.
I tell ya.
Because they were down there, fucking, because they're not hot enough for people to pay for their OnlyFans. So they were down there spreading those fucking sharp crust flaps that they must have from living in fucking Logan all their life, for middle-aged fucking Greens voting sugar daddies down in Melbourne CBD. Fuck them.
Yes.
Fuck them.
With the sharpest, most largest and pneumatic fucking action.
Yes. That's it.
It drives me fucking crazy because we're sorted up here.
We were good.
I mean, I still don't think it's going to be crazy, but still, we were pretty much zeroed off.
Yeah.
And life was almost, even though there was all the talk of the social distancing and all this sort of stuff still being done, and some stores, they sort of changed the way they did things and so on.
Yep.
Realistically, though, it was pretty much pretty much back to normal. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But now these cunts are going to fucking lock us down again. And the thing is, we shut the border of New South Wales. That means we can't go fucking grand final weekend. And yes, there is, still kind of 3 months for this shit to resolve itself.
Yeah.
But man, it would have been perfectly fucking resolved in 3 months from now if these cunts hadn't have fucking done what they did.
Wouldn't it just?
So, it's the first time I've actually been legitimately fucking angry. And it's all because of these fucking Friends of Victoria. Australia's shame. Fucking.
Yeah. But we still have rugby league.
We do. And I'll tell you what, Queensland will. I can say for a fact that unlike their football teams, Queensland will have the Rona situation well in hand by the end of October. And so if those other cunt states down south can't fucking figure their shit out, we'll be doing something in Brisbane. Don't you worry about that.
Yes.
Something will be happening. It just be lucky days for the Brisbane ones.
There will be a celebration.
Oh yeah, there'll be a celebration, bitches.
There will be a celebration.
And at the moment, the celebration is, thank God we're not fucking Victorians. Disease cunts, like these Logan disease cunts.
Yes.
I'll tell you, is this a record for dropping cunt bombs at the start of a show? Maybe it is.
But is it deserved?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. I mean, what do you do with these motherfuckers? Because, like, what's our fine? Like $1,300 or something, like $1,330 or something. Sure, $1,300 would probably fucking hurt a 19-year-old cleaner somewhat, but not enough to not fucking do it in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
So it wasn't like a perceived huge punishment at the time they decided to go and fucking disease up everywhere. So what we need to do is we need to get these Rona fucking prisons together. I mean, they have the situations where they've got like terror, to prevent terrorist acts, where they've got the powers to just snatch people up and just fucking throw them in a hole. They need to do it they need to do it for these cunts too, because honestly, the potential outcomes of these motherfuckers doing what they're doing, I mean, it's like it's like fucking old people dying and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
Anyway,
that's it. Although
up against the wall, a wall that's covered in like plastic wrap, so that the dirty fucking Rona blood doesn't splat all over it after the firing squad's done.
Yeah.
Anyway, news this week. Let's start. The first one I want to kick off with is, of course, the tug of war regarding David Fifita has come to a close, and the Gold Coast Titans, Queensland's premier side, have prevailed. As often happens in these, player tugs of war. I mean, the premier side prevails.
That's it.
And I was listening to a lot of radio on the weekend, and so for better or worse, I happened to hear something on Triple M, and like they were talking to Gordon Tallis about it, and apparently, in a twist of fate, I don't think he was instrumental in getting him across the line for the Titans, because now he's like an ambassador or something for the Titans, and so I don't think he was like, I wouldn't say he's instrumental, but he did get on the phone to him and say, look, this is what the Titans are about, blah blah blah, and the Broncos aren't what they were when I was there. He's like, I understand what it means to pull on the Broncos jersey. I did it as it's the only team I wanted to play for as well.
Yeah,
but
it was also the fucking only team there.
Yeah. But this is the situation. Yeah, because the fact with it being the only team there at the time, and he couldn't get a run, and so he had to go to the Dragons, essentially, to play to play his career. But he's getting a little bit more money from the Titans than the Broncos are offering, but not a crazy, like, it's not. There's a couple of $100 a year, I think, overall, the final contract value over the same period of time. But the Rabbits offered him, I think they offered him as much, if not more, than the Titans, right?
Yeah.
They had a mega offer in there for him as well. But I mean, he's done very well, getting allegedly around $3.5 million across the 3 years.
Yep.
And
there's been a lot of speculation about the dollars after this, and it's predictable, you know. And as if it was either of our clubs involved, we would probably fall on one of these two sides as well.
Yeah.
The Titans now are like, okay, yeah, look, it's big, but we're rebuilding. We need to pay overs, etc., etc. He's the sort of player that will bring other people to the club. The Broncos, their instant reaction straight away was, oh, they're paying too much. If they want to pay too much, I want to pay too much. To be honest, I've seen like not Broncos, not from the club side, but from the fan base side. Like the fan base are like, they're distraught. Yeah,
they're like the club. They're not sort of they're not sort of going. They're sort of falling on the players' side. Sort of like, you know, this club is such a shit show that.
Yeah,
you know, why wouldn't you leave? You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's it. But look, it's actually probably an opportune time to bring up. This was posted in our Facebook group last week, and I absolutely fucking love it. So shout out to Cameron, who goes in to the Broncos Facebook group, and he's created, after every loss, he's created the Broncos loss aftermath bingo card.
And this is what is this, Seabold stuff or just the fan base in general?
No, he just goes into the Broncos game thread in the Broncos official Facebook group, and he ticks off things. You know, ref's fault. Players read these comments. 6 again rule. Bunker screwed up. Armchair coaches. True fans.
Oh, God. I think that could be every fucking team's Facebook group, to be honest.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, there's some chestnuts there.
Trust the process. Oof. That's copyright. You never played NRL. There's some fucking pearls in there, but it's in the Facebook group. It's great.
That is one of my favourite shit comments. How many games in NRL you played, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, mate.
But the thing is, and I think where the Titans have been pretty shrewd, is it's a short deal.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't gone to him and locked.
It's the shortest deal they've ever signed a player to.
Yeah, exactly.
At only 3 years.
Yeah, but you know, who's taking less than 3 years these days to jump clubs?
Yeah.
You know, if you've got somebody at your club and you know they're coming to the end, you might say to them, "Hey, look, we're going to give you an extra 2, and then we'll look at topping you up with another 1 at the end of that."
Yeah.
But we just want 2 now.
Yep.
A 3-year deal for Fafita's perfect. He's an up and coming forward.
Especially that age.
Yeah. And they've had to pay marquee money because they need a marquee player.
Yeah. And I mean, like, their pack's going to be fucking great next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so they got Fodawaika, they got from Storm coming up as well.
The other one, the one you hate to see though, is it does look like Ryan James.
Yes.
Is on the outer. That he's gone as a Canberra.
Yeah, and that's after two knees that he's done like in consecutive seasons, right?
Yeah, and
which
so
is just a shame.
If you take it from that point of view, he's been a great servant to that club.
Yeah,
you know, he was one of those players where every year when it was coming up to Origin time, you're like, fucking surely, like his form is undeniable. Surely he gets a run this year.
Yeah,
you know, lucked out, but for him to move on, I'm glad he's gone to another club that's going to have, you know, hopefully a little bit of success, because I'd hate to see him end up at, you know, the Dogs or the Dragons or something where he's just going to languish as a bench forward.
Yeah, or it's where he'll be a starting prop, but he'll be toiling fucking, you know, needlessly playing a solo hand. Yeah,
that's it.
To create space for halves that don't know how to fucking play the game.
Yeah, exactly. Mate, look, the Titans have done very well. It shows the power of somebody like Mal Meninga. You know, for anyone that was questioning putting Mal Meninga on as their, what is he, the GM of football or culture manager or whatever the fucking he is.
Yeah, and obviously he's a powerful influence. Yeah, you know, given his tenure, you know, with the Queensland State of Origin, you know, during their golden run.
Yep.
He's obviously a powerful guy to.
And again, it really shows you what dire straits that Broncos side's in.
Yeah.
Because having seen both of their facilities,
Yep.
The Broncos facility at the moment is still a fucking glorious place to work and train and play football, but they're getting a new centre of excellence built for them. Like, they will have the most state-of-the-art facility in the country, and he's choosing to walk away from that.
Some things are more important than centres of excellence.
Yes,
I'm afraid.
So, no, good win for the Titans.
Good win for the Titans. A bad loss for the Broncos, because how often do you see the Broncos actually lose someone that they really want to keep?
No. The narrative is always that Brisbane cunt people and end up let's rattle off. And, look, maybe this is the other thing, and I haven't seen this played out. Maybe this is Broncos fucking karma. Like, they cunted Wally Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
They cunted Petro, even though they took him back.
Yep.
The amount of people that they're just like, you know what, we're done with you. Fuck off.
Yeah. And look, to be honest, I mean, that ruthless kind of attitude is probably, required. I mean, with a bit more decorum, but I mean, that's the business of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep. No.
Well, I think it's not so much the cunning of older players that is karma for. It's karma for hoarding the best and brightest of Southeast Queensland talent for the duration of their entire existence, really.
Mm.
I mean, I would think that they wanted to keep Ash Taylor.
Yeah.
When they lost him, but at the same time, they weren't in these dire straits that they are now. They had a succession plan in place, and it wasn't the end of the world when he elected to go down the road.
Mm. Yeah, fair call.
In other signing news, Sonny Bill Williams will be returning to the game, returning to the NRL, returning to the Roosters for a brief pinch hitting, I guess, cameo for the season for them. Obviously, he was playing for the Toronto Wolfpack. That all collapsed, which has freed him up to do something. His family is in Australia, so he obviously would want to return to his family. He has to serve, his 14-day isolation and things like that upon return to the country. And ultimately, that will leave him in a position where he can play the final 4 matches of the regular season for the Roosters, as well as the finals, which they'll no doubt, appear in.
Yep.
And it looks like he's going to get $150,000 for that term. They originally tried to register $120,000. The NRL rejected that. So we're seeing a lot of stuff on the Facebook group, and just in fandom in general. It's an ongoing meme. The Roosters with the salary sombrero, like the Storm, and especially in recent years, the Roosters have had a great deal of success, and they seem to whenever a marquee player comes off onto the market, they're usually a pretty good shout at getting them if they want them. Now, on this occasion, I'm going to have to go. Look, I love the salary sombrero meme as much as anybody. I fucking love giving Roosters shit about salary cap, of course. Yep. It's what you do.
Yep.
However, on this occasion, I just think it's fucking way off base, because I mean, they're paying him way more than he's worth.
Yes.
I dare say, even in 2013, because I mean, you got to prorate this 150 games for $150,000 for 4 games. I mean, that's like $900,000 for the season essentially that he would be paid. And at his peak, yeah, he probably would have been, if his peak was today, he'd be worth that for sure, and maybe more. But that was fucking 6 years ago. It's 6 years since he's played real rugby league, and his performances for the Wolfpack, especially the early ones, were fucking not good. I think a lot of people are getting caught up in this. They think that 2013 Sonny Bill is coming to join the Roosters for $150,000 for a season.
Yeah. That's it.
That's what they see. They just see these broad strokes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's 2020 Sonny Bill.
Mm.
It's $150,000 for 4 games and potentially another couple in the finals.
Yep. And to go to your point earlier, and it's a very, very good one, is the reason that the Roosters get all of these fucking marquee players is exactly the reason that the Broncos used to, and the reason that the Broncos aren't now. It's because they're a successful team, and players can walk around there and feel that cohesion within there. They've played against them, and they know.
But also because players want to win.
Exactly, and they know what it's like to play against that Roosters system. Yep. So to have the opportunity to be a part of it must be incredibly enticing for those players. Looking at Sonny Bill, you know, the rugby league community gets up in arms about player movements. We are not the sport where one player makes or breaks a team. You know, if I say to you, who is the greatest rugby league player of the last 30 years? What's the first name that comes to mind?
I don't know. Who's the greatest? Hypothetically speaking, if we said it was to be like Andrew Johns or something like that.
And that's the answer you would expect out of most people, you know, unless they're fuckheads. But how many premierships did he win?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that doesn't change the topic of conversation around, well, you know, was he the greatest? It's not the number of premierships. He lost more often than years that he won. It's not like a sport like basketball where you can get one person and just change the entire dynamic of your team. Sonny Bill's going to come in, and let's face it, if you look at him, he has always been the consummate professional in terms of being an athlete.
Yep.
You know, he's done multi-sports at the highest level, gone back and forth. And whereas you look at somebody like Jarryd Hayne, I don't think Jarryd Hayne handled his transition back to rugby league very well.
No, terribly.
I think he underestimated exactly what he would need to do. And he doesn't strike me, and also from first-hand reports, doesn't seem like the guy who's going to be putting in extras at training. Whereas Sonny Bill, also from reports from ex-teammates, was the guy who went and cornered the nutritionist as soon as he got back into rugby league, and was needing diet and this, and how do I do this, and how do I do this, and then going to the doctors and the sports scientists and saying, okay, well, can you do a workout plan for me? They're like, no, we'll have the workout plans done this week. And he's gone, no, I want extras.
Yeah.
Like, I've come from this sport, and so I need to do more because I need to get back to this.
Yep.
And that'll hold him in good stead. And really, at the end of the day, he's gonna play limited minutes. He's going to come on as a super sub, and who knows, in this age of more mobile forwards that have got a little bit of nous about them.
Yep.
The fucking greatest thing here, and what I am crossing my fingers and hoping and praying for, is that Sonny Bill just turns into last season Luke Lewis 2.0.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of fucking line breaks where there's just daylight ahead of him, but the old legs can't quite get him there, or he almost makes it. And is he going to make it? No, yes, he's going to make it. And
taking the shoulder charge out of the game since he was last around.
Correct. Yes, he can't do that anymore. Fuck no.
Taking a lot of it, and I saw some complaints from fucking the usual suspects like Paul Kent saying that other clubs would be delighted to pay fucking Sonny Bill way more than that. So this situation's not fair at all. Well,
why?
It's a fucking free market, mate. If he wants to take 150 grand to play for the club he fucking played with and won with, why does he have to take? I'm making figures up. 300, like double it to go and fucking toil with the shit cunt dogs or something.
Yeah,
it's fucking stupid. What a stupid fucking comment.
Yeah, so hang on, because they're only paying him 150 and other clubs offered more, there must be something underhanded going on, or they're
and the fact that other clubs would have gladly parted with more than 150 grand for the 4 games to have him.
Yeah, well, again, fucking great.
Yeah,
get good, be somewhere he wants to be. Have a fucking chairman like Uncle Nick, who has obviously maintained a relationship with Sonny Bill, so that when he comes back, he's the first person he rings. Hey, I've just been fucking booted out of Canada because of the Rona. I've got no cash. Can you hook me up?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. He doesn't need the cash. I don't think he doesn't care about the cash.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants something to do, get back into Australia with his family,
Yep.
and he'll probably line up some boxing fights and, like a super fight with some other fucking ex-player or something.
Isn't he fighting Barry Hall?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Exactly. That's exactly the sort of level of fight I would expect. And it's a marketing win for the NRL as well.
Mm.
I mean, he's a fucking name that people know. I guess this season it's not really about bums on seats, but it's about eyeballs on the games. And
exactly. And fucking Paul Cunt, he's worth clicks to you. So shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Fucking don't bite a gift horse in the mouth or whatever. I don't know.
But yeah, 35-year-old, hasn't played for 6 years in the NRL.
Yeah.
Hasn't trained since February.
Yep.
Honestly, it's not worth the fucking stroke, fellas. Just calm down.
Yeah.
More signing. The tug of war over Joseph Suali, who is the young player who was reported a month ago or something like that,
Yep.
that he was going to get like a ridiculously sized like $2 million whatever contract with Souths, extension with Souths. Then there was talk that the Rugby were going to poach him and pay him $3 million.
Yep.
And he's it was like he'd gone to Souths, he'd backflipped on Souths and he'd gone to Rugby and this and that. And then it comes out, you see the actual figures?
No.
I mean, well, like, Rugby is fucking a broke joke. Like, it's got less fucking money than, I don't know, fucking curling. Like, they are absolutely fucking broke.
Yeah, was that...
What they offered him was something more like 10% of that. And I don't know if it came from the Souths that it was a $3 million thing, which kind of drove up a media frenzy, which may have, like, pushed him back towards the Rabbits. And if so, brilliant. Great fucking strategies. But apparently Rugby were like, nah, we can't pay you shit. We'll pay you $300,000, $250,000 or something like that, I think it was. But our advantage is that you can play in a real, in quotes, World Cup, see some of the world, play in the Commonwealth Games, play in, all these different international competitions that you can't play if you're with rugby league.
Yep.
So they tried to make this more holistic sort of situation rather than just dollars to play league. And at the end of the day, you can suck the whole of these nuts because of a kid is getting a couple of $1 million, before he turns 17, and can change from all reports his family could really use that cash too.
Yeah.
And if he can change his entire family's fucking life before he turns 20, he can still go and do that other shit if he wants to. They don't have fucking Olympics this year. I mean, Commonwealth Games, when's that going to happen? No one knows when anything's going to happen.
Exactly.
Why would you give up fucking 90% of a potential payment on the gamble that some international competition's going to happen again someday?
It was an opportunity though, and again, I'm fucking nitpicking here, and I think Philandis has handled most shit very well, right? Since he came, that this was an opportunity for him to just pull his fucking big rugby league dick out and slap it on the table, and pretty much say, this kid's in our system. He's there and he's ready to play our game. He's young, and if he wants to go off and make that much money, while he's young, that's fine. But no one player is bigger than our game. And then to fucking rattle off some shit like, here is our last TV rights deal. Here is Rugby Australia's last TV rights deal. Here is the highest rating fucking... Yeah.
And he's not above that too, because he's been taking pot shots at AFL for fucking weeks.
Exactly. So for him to just basically come out and say, you know what, Rugby, go the same lines that Broncos fans were doing with Fafita, basically come out and say, you know what, Rugby, if you want to pay overs for a 17-year-old kid, if that's how fucking desperate you are, then come and do it, and we'll be here waiting at the end of fucking 3 years, when you've got no fucking competition and everything you've offered him's run out,
Yep.
He'll still be at a great age to play rugby league. But we'll continue fine without him up to then. And even if he never comes along, we won't skip a beat because no one player is bigger than our game.
Yep.
You know, but he said he's going to start looking at underage fucking things. So
Yeah, I mean, that part of things, that's the one thing I don't like about him. He seems very reactive to the topic of the day.
And whether that's just him understanding that that's all he has to do.
Yeah.
To just go, yep, you know what, I'm happy to look into that, and if it needs to
Yep.
be changed, we'll change it. And then if he never says anything about it ever again, with the current crop of fuckhead journalists out there, no one will ever call him to account and say, hey, you remember when you said this, and this?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to any of that shit?
I had a look at it.
Yeah.
That's all I said. What else do we have here? This is an article I only saw this afternoon, and this is, I don't know if you've seen this one, but it's fucking great. The Brisbane Broncos are desperately in need of someone to save them. And according to coach Anthony Seibold, the most experienced player in NRL history could be that man. Seibold confirmed today that Brisbane are considering making a play for Storm skipper Cameron Smith. Constant critics of the club have harped on about the lack of leadership and poor culture at Red Hill that's led to their demise. It doesn't look like it's set to be fixed anytime soon, but luring Smith would be a huge coup in trying to turn their form around.
Would it?
No, this article is absolute fucking. It's a clickbait extrapolation from someone probably asking the question to Seibold, saying, if Cameron Smith were available, would you bring him into the side? Or could he add something to the side? And Seibold, you know, fuckhead that he is, but not that much of a fuckhead, of course would say, yeah, obviously, we don't have a fucking hooker. Yeah, a hooker would be great. So, yeah. Non-story, but
here's the thing.
Journalism's garbage at the moment.
Yeah, there is. Cameron Smith would go to Brisbane, and he'd probably be okay there. But this is the thing that no one realises, and it should be fucking bleeding, obviously, by now. Who's left Melbourne and excelled?
Yeah, okay, so Greg Inglis obviously had a great career moving on from Melbourne.
Greg Inglis had a good career moving on from Melbourne. Tasted premiership success with Souths. But that was his athleticism.
Yeah, but I mean, you just said, you know who, so...
Yeah, exactly. Exactly,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is Cameron Smith being successful as a fucking mid-30s, 400-game hooker.
Yeah. It's a different situation. Greg Inglis left, you know, if not in his prime, you know, close to it.
Yeah. And Cameron Smith's success is as much based around him playing within that Melbourne system as it is him just being Cameron Smith. In fact, I'd say that the Melbourne system and the familiarity that he has in that.
I feel like the Melbourne system is more like wrapped around him. You know what I mean?
Well, it allows him to succeed.
Yeah, but I think it's like also based on what he brings.
Yeah.
So like it's based on what he does, and it's, you know, best for the entire team to succeed based on what he brings to the table.
That's it.
That's as much credit you'll ever hear me give that cunt.
There you go.
Seriously.
So, yes, I'd fucking love for that to happen because it would allow the demise of the Broncos and Cameron Smith
Simultaneously.
at
You'd be
the
brilliant.
same time.
The East Tigers backed Brisbane Firehawks have released their logo. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I did.
It's a blend of a swooping raptor with burning flames.
Okay.
It was created by. I'm not going to give these guys a plug for creating this logo, but it captures the essence of the firehawk, which is a group of Australian raptor species that intentionally spread wildfires by carrying smouldering branches to unburned areas.
Cunts. So they're cunts. The Brisbane cunt birds.
They're basically sky cunts. However, could you imagine? Like, I mean, if you could, extrapolate that metaphor and be like, they're setting like Suncorp and Red Hill on fire, carrying burning branches and dropping them down there as like symbolically destroying the Broncos. I mean, I can get behind that, but but yeah, sky cunts.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't been following this in this Corona era. There's no fucking way they're expanding the competition.
No,
these guys may very well be up next when that day comes. But I'm not in favour of a 17-team competition. It has to be 16 or it has to be 18. This is the buy shit's not a great way of doing it. But then who's next after the sky cunts?
Exactly, fucking swoop cunts.
If I had time, I would actually change it and change the sky cunts Brisbane, and then have that bird and just have the birds look, just change the eyes on it just to make them look like, I guess, more cunty.
Just put like a child in a t-shirt that says orphan and have this bird just shitting fire onto its head.
Anyway, you got any news articles you want to speak about?
No. Look, it's the ultimate in fucking clickbait, but somehow this resurgence of David Nofaluma having his eyes set on Origin has risen again. And I just want to say that if that happens, then State of Origin is truly dead.
State of Origin happens this year, well after the grand final has completed. Like a month and a half after the grand final's completed.
Yes.
So, if you mean to tell me that we can't have fit bodies for the back three with somewhere in the vicinity of Tedesco, throw a Moz in there, fucking even like Ferguson, for God's sake.
Exactly.
And there's so many, like, there are so many people who are incumbent that are ahead of the line of David Nofaluma on his best fucking day.
The cunt's a winger.
Yep.
Right? And he's up and around the fucking top try scorers for the season.
Yeah.
In a team that's been fucking stat padding against Broncos and Bulldogs.
Exactly. Yep.
Like, when they've played teams above them on the ladder, he does fuck all.
Yeah. And people forget that in the first, in the pre-COVID iteration of the season, the last game there, they were playing the Knights, and it was fucking Benny Hill music all around with him and DJ letting tries in.
Exactly. So, no, that was the only other thing I saw of any interest, and that's only a fucking comedy story.
Yeah, and when West Tigers fans, feel free to run, but you know better.
Exactly.
You know better.
If you don't know, now you know, fuckheads.
You know. Recaps for round 11 of the 2020 Ronaril season. The R in NRL stands for Rona. Last week, we sort of fucked about with the format a little bit. Honestly, we didn't get a massive amount of feedback like either way, but I feel like we got more, and also our own feeling as well, was kind of more towards let's just sort of do it the way we have been.
It was too fucking clunky.
Yeah.
Because for the previews, you would have two teams and you'd be going back and forth between game notes from two different games
and potentially saying the same sort of stuff.
Yes.
Like twice.
Yes.
For two different games. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, look, we'll go back to the drawing board and try and figure out, a way to make things work, or if we change things.
Yep.
But as it stands, we'll just blast through them and just try and not let them get out of hand. I guess that's all we can do.
Exactly.
So, first up, Thursday night, the Parramatta Eels 26 defeat the West Tigers 16 at Bankwest Stadium. The Eels 26 double to Micah Sivo, Mitch Moses, Reagan Campbell-Gillard and Sean Lane with tries. Moses 2 of 5 conversions and a penalty goal, defeating the Tigers 16. Tries to Lucky Leilua, David Norfoluma, Tommy Talau, Mbai 1 of 3 conversions and a penalty goal.
Was a nice contest this for a fair while.
Yeah.
And going into it, there was obviously all of the battle of the wits with Matto and his fucking Festivus list of grievances that he had with the club.
Yeah. And his parting shots to the club, like, you're never going to make the finals, or you're never going to win a premiership, or whatever it was that he said.
Yeah, that's
allegedly said. And that actually provided a week of just a frothy week on the socials.
Yes.
With the fans getting very amped for it, which spilled over when the game itself came around and Matto gets KO'd.
Yeah.
And the HIA and he's off.
Look, even before that, the first try, Lucky just ran fucking straight through him. Just ran absolutely straight through him. And that was a good psychological boost, I think, for the Tigers. They just seemed to run out of that emotional juice after about 25 minutes. Because
Matto, their target of their passion, was not on the field anymore.
For the Eels, I know we talk about how the fuck people look at Gutho and give him the nickname of anything to do with royalty.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even sure that he's fucking Archduke Gutho, but he seemed to be very fucking ginger under some high balls that game.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, because he's normally relatively safe, but they were bouncing, and he was in the vicinity where he should have been under them. So I don't know what was the go there. But then the Tigers go and do weird shit. Like, they had Parramatta under all sorts, and they get a penalty and take the 2.
Yeah.
It's little moments in games like that I think the Tigers just need to get better at this season. They're 100% a team that rides waves of momentum, and if they can keep that going for longer periods, they'll have more success. For the Eels, again, little moments for them. RCG's try, that was fucking fantastic.
Fucking spectacular. And probably the breaking point for the Tigers and their emotions as well.
Yeah.
Because that came on the back of the Tigers having the ascendancy and having all the running. Yes. And it was kind of against the run of play. It was a big bust, like probably from halfway.
Yep.
And just to let a big man...
But just to see him stride out like that.
Yeah.
And I do love when forwards get in space like that. You can see them, like, everything they do is a deliberately considered motion. Like when someone like Teddy or RTS or someone like that makes a break, it's natural. It's flair, it's ability. They're just in the zone. But you can see that moment where RCG can feel the tackle coming, so he covers up the ball with the second hand. Everything's just textbook.
And then he's got to realise that he's got to figure out, how am I going to get my arms out so I can actually plant the ball down and score the try.
It was absolutely fantastic. Looking at it though, the Tigers played a relatively safe style of football. I'm not sure that's going to get them far for the rest of the season. The Eels, on the other hand, had Moses come back, and he was just, the fucking disrespectful chip and chase.
Yes.
And especially for that to come off like it did.
He pulls out his best disrespectful stuff against the Tigers.
Yeah.
And that's great for a departing player.
It certainly is.
To do.
And especially... See, I'm thinking back now. Who was the cunt in that situation when he left? Was he the cunt, or did they cunt him?
Ivan was kind of cunting him a bit, but I think he was also
Oh, Ivan did that too. Fuck,
Yeah.
You're welcome, Tigers. You're fucking welcome. I'd forgotten that. Oh, suck my dick from the back, you fucking dumpster fire of a club.
Yeah, but I mean, there was also the machinations of Moses and the players coming off at the same time and all that sort of thing. But yeah, Moses didn't get it. Yeah, he definitely had a bad taste in his mouth as he left, which is obviously inspiring these disrespectful displays and everything just coming off for him against the Tigers.
Yeah, that's it. Decent win.
All right, hit some tweets.
Stuart on Facebook said, "There's two kinds of losses Tigers fans have become accustomed to. First, the flogging. Some games you never look like being competitive. You don't really invest much emotion in it. Second is the game that was there for the taking, but we weren't good enough to seal the deal, and it hurts. This one feels like the former masquerading as the latter. The scoreline probably flattered the Tigers." Biggest Tiger said, "Watching Moses chip for himself and score would have been so amazing for Els fans. Everything he does against us is like disrespectful field goal level snide. It's a great narrative I wish I wasn't on the wrong end of." Yes, that is tough. Devonhead said, "I feel the Tigers' forever ninth is bad karma associated with cockhead himself, Wobby Farah, and the only way they can shake it is to sacrifice Royal Schnitzel to some chicken god for crimes against them and rugby league." Geo Utes on Twitter said, "CTE and you, the Western Sydney Guide to Permanent Frittataism." Yeah, there were some fucking head knocks in this one. Big Gav 8 on Twitter said, "Harry Grant is the reason why Tigers may finally crack the 8 this year and why they won't next year when he goes back to Melbourne." Yes, that is a bit of a shit deal for them. Swamp Duck 04 said, "Rusty ironing out Matto. Moses prancing like a peacock, Brown punching Bloor, then diving like Mitchum. Hashtag forever ninth."
That Bloor debut was a great narrative for the Tigers to, something to take out of the game as well.
Yep, he's a good young talent. He's very talented kid.
And while I love the way that he was just having a blast out there and smiling and getting stuck into Brown and everything, still that passage of play that the Tigers are really beating themselves to a red raw little nub over. Was he's got an infectious smile and that's great, but he also gave up a penalty, antagonised Nathan Brown, who then ran at him a couple of times and made like 10 metres per carry. And it was great, and I loved the young guy stepping up to the experienced alleged hard guy, but you got to see it for what it was. There were two sides in that one as well.
Exactly.
But he looks like a good young player though.
Oh yeah, definitely is.
Okay, you on to the next game?
That's it.
Mighty Manly Seagulls 24 defeated the North Queensland Cowboys 12 up at the Abattoir in North Queensland, in Townsville. Manly's 24 came through tries to Curtis Sirra, Danny Levi, Daly Cherry Evans and Cade Cust. Garrick 4 of 4 conversions. Defeating the Cowboys 12 tries to Felt and murderous Frank Molo, and Kyle Felt 2 of 2 conversions.
What?
You gotta fucking love it. You gotta love going up there. It's a tough road trip in 2020 when these teams, via the Corona protocols and everything set out through the Queensland government and Project Apollo, blah blah whatever.
Yep.
Where they got to go up to North Queensland day of the game, get the game played in atrocious conditions on an atrocious fucking paddock of a field.
Yeah.
And then do the job, and then then get the fuck out of there. With your dignity intact, and so it's just one of those games where I would have been happy with a win under any circumstances.
Yep.
Because it was really dangerous. However, the way they won was fucking great. Cade Cust has stepped up, and as far as I'm concerned, he's won that position. I mean, we'll see what happens when Walker's fit. I mean, it must be close. He was in the 21 for this week, but I think finally Daly has a halves partner like he did when Blake Green was there, and he actually had someone that could fucking provide a genuine second focal point of attack, so he wasn't having to do everything himself, and he also wasn't the focal point of the defence.
Yeah.
And which is great. Danny Levi, his option. I mean, Danny Levi. He's got this fucking dart from dummy half thing, and go for the hero play to score the try. He's got that in him. But now he's finally starting to be more selective about it, and he strolled over for the easiest fucking try in the world, in this game. Ciro's still putting in the big ones. It was just a great overall team effort. Even Garrick's kicking goals now. So as predicted, take a couple of weeks to learn to play without 3 of the 4 members of the spine, with the Alex McKinnon spine that they have at the moment. But 2 in a row, and they're starting to, like you can see, that they're starting to learn to play with the side that they have available.
Spot on.
Cowboys play with a lot of passion. I'll give them that. They obviously love Hannay.
Yes.
As a guy in and around the club, and obviously he did his time with the club before they mercilessly cunted him, like you were talking about earlier with the Broncos doing. But I mean, the Cowboys, don't forget, they did cunt him and send him down to Cronulla or wherever to finish out his career in reserve grade. The thing that shit me off though was the fucking commentators. I can't even remember who fucking commentated this game, but they were so riding the Cowboys to do it for Josh Hannay. I mean, I don't know, Josh Hannay must be the most popular fucking guy up there or something. I don't know. He must be a great bloke. Because holy shit, they wanted these cunts to do something for him, but it wasn't to be. No dead cat bounce on the new coach. Maybe next week, fellas.
That's it. Well, in the tweets, that was one of the comments. The Bunk 2099 said only a quarter dead cat bounce from the Cows, but it's obvious that Garrick is no turbo. Good news is he isn't a biscuit either. Yes, that is true.
But Garrick's a winger anyway. What are you talking about? Did you mean Elliot?
I don't know what he means. I'm not him. Andrew, Facebook group, said, in commentary, Brent Todd said that the surface was in pretty good shape, except that the grassroots were really short and the ground was really hard. So maybe that's the fucking dumb commentator you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the ground, I think. I mean, like the condition of the ground, it looked great. And it wasn't like like an injurious sort of surface or anything, but just players just fucking like it was ice skating.
Yeah.
Like just people, like players losing their feet for the entire fucking game. It was just a shit fucking patch of ground.
Ryan said, solid effort by the boys. DCE should have considered a career in UFC, considering how fast he took down that grub Cowboys prick after he got pushed for no reason. Who was that again? Who was that cracker
Cowboys
of a
player?
Game. I don't know, but there's never no reason that DCE gets pushed.
He did. What happened was it was the last tackle and he took the kick. He kicked and the player came through and hit him a bit late and sort of and was sort of trying to give him a bit of the Cooper Cronk fucking fuck Barb choke that he put on camera, like Cameron Smith, and Daly got up and then. Fucking hell! I see he learned his judo well and just put him on his ass so quickly. It was amazing.
There you go. Anthony said, I like Century of DCE, but tonight, # lust for cust was also worthy.
Lust for cust.
There you go.
First you lust for cust. The people who saw his heroics in the final Holden Cup Grand Final with that Manly won right in the buzzer against Parramatta. Shout out Timmy McIntyre. But Cade Cuss was a hero in that game, and we've been waiting for years for him to sort of bring that to first grade. A, to get the opportunity, and then B, to sort of settle in and play his game. And this was the game where he did it. So it went from lust for Cust to bust for Cust.
Really? Okay, there we go.
You may continue with the tweets, sir.
That's it.
I feel like you may have censored them then.
No. The Manly fans' content was that fucking poor after this game.
You don't have to tell me. Manly
fans are shit cunts.
I've said it privately. I've said it publicly.
That's it.
Yeah, fucking. I think most sane football supporters generally fucking dislike a large percentage of their own fan base because just through general embarrassment for the way that cunts carry on social media. The Melbourne Storm 46 defeat the Brisbane Broncos 8 at Suncorp. The Storm's 46. Here we go. A double to the Fox. a double to Jerome Hughes, Kenny Bromwich, Tino Fasamalawi, a double, and Ryan Pappenhausen, Cam Smith, 6 of 8 conversions and a penalty goal to feed the Broncos 8. Try to Herbie Farnsworth and a conversion and penalty goal to Katoni Staggs. It was fuck. This game was fucking great. It was entertaining as hell to me, and it wasn't because it wasn't like the standard 59-58 Broncos smashing that we've been getting. This was a solid, probably like 30 minutes of Broncos in it up to their eyeballs.
They came out with more intent. They came out with more fucking determination than I've seen out of them since the fucking lockdown ended.
Mm.
Whatever was said in training last week was, fucking, it worked because they were a different side. They were running hard. They were defending well. Darius Boyd's all of a sudden fucking remembered that he's a football player. And remember that at one stage he was an auto pick in most rep teams in the back line, albeit probably on a wing. But then there was that thing where they got rattled and all of a sudden everything fell away. It wasn't like you see occasionally where a team has a rough period and they get a couple put on them or a couple of players make a few mistakes and put their heads down. It was a team-wide phenomenon that every fucking head in that place dropped and then the floodgates opened.
Yep. And within that very same game, Darius Boyd forgot that he was a football player after remembering earlier that evening. And then by the end, after such a promising start, and they lost their way just before half time.
It was almost like he had the quantum leap guy jump into his body for 35 minutes. And they'd be like, okay, he's got this. I can leave now and try and get home. And he's fucked off. And then the normal Darius was back.
Yep, exactly. And that was the end of that, unfortunately, for the old Broncos. And then it turned into one of those good old-fashioned carve-ups where, they were great tries, but they were,
And this is where you give credit to the Storm. They would have gone into that game thinking, well, fucking everyone's beating these guys. The Tigers put 1,000 fucking points on them. We are obviously going to win this game. They got in there and the weather was against them. So you know what they say about rain and wet weather, it's the great equaliser. Maybe not an equaliser here, but it certainly brought them closer together. They ran up against a more determined Broncos side. And you could have been forgiven for Melbourne getting a little bit rattled.
Yep.
But that's where the quality teams, and Melbourne are a quality team still, that's where it shines through. And they go, oh, okay, so we just need to get into the grind here. And we're going to sit down, and even when Brisbane were in the lead, they didn't panic, and they just kept doing their Storm things. And then eventually when they felt the swing of the game change, they go, okay, here we are now. Okay,
yep.
They've just bent over and grabbed their ankles, plough away. Well done, Storm.
And look, as much as we say shit about Cameron Smith, though, I mean, the way he stepped up and dominated this game, was something to see. And he almost beat the Broncos single-handedly in the end. Hit some tweets
in the Facebook group. Toto said Broncos were actually playing well for the first 30 minutes, then a soft try before the half and their heads went down. There you go. A decent coach would know what to say to pick their heads up and come out firing. We do not have that, and thus a slaughtering was endured for 40 minutes. Hashtag put Milford to the sword. That was the other news article I saw today, that allegedly they're trying to offload Milford and Bird.
Okay.
Who combined could still sit another over $1 million on their salary cap.
Yeah, okay. I saw the Bird thing, and I saw he was free to go, and they would pay a hefty amount of freight, potentially sort of $400,000 or $500,000.
Yep.
Just to get him off the books. I did not hear about Milford being shopped though.
Looks to be a similar thing for Milford.
Right.
So that's a shitty situation to be in when your marquee player, your $1 million player.
And you remember how hard they fucking fought to get him out of Canberra?
Yeah, that's it.
Like, it was a war.
But for him to know he's not wanted by the club, you know...
That's going to make him play better.
Yeah.
That's how it always happens.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus fucking Christ. The fucking Nang Baron.
Nang Baron.
Said, thanks to Brodie Croft, I'm no longer the worst thing to come out of Dolby. Levius said, I've never been this excited for a Storm game in my life. If the Brisbane Bombers B team concede another 50 plus, I'll be more erect than Super Grover when he's jerking it to a photo of a V8 supercar. Matt at MattWill1982 on Twitter said, the best bumming I've seen since my free trial to Pornhub Premium expired. Kevy refusing to hammer Milford in case he's the next coach was a metaphorical dick being wiped on the curtains prior to leaving. If Walters is the answer, what is the fucking question? There you go.
We've seen a bit of that this week too with Broncos fans.
Yes.
Like, yeah, because obviously, like, there's a lot of speculation. Like, the next man up is sort of Kevy.
Yep.
And dare I say, I mean, he had an agreement at one point, allegedly that he would be the coach of the Broncos next. But yeah, not many takers in Broncos land.
Look, we went over it last week. I'm not sure a different coach or a new coach, and obviously Siebes has his fucking, drawbacks here.
Yeah.
But I don't think changing the coach gets them a remarkably different outcome.
No. But, staying with the same coach, though, I don't think, it's not going to really move. There are times when a coach digging in and remaining are like, it's like an unsalvageable situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of the point we're reaching with Seabowl here.
Mm.
But, hey, not my club.
Correct.
Not my problem.
Correct.
You got any other tweets?
Nope.
Right, so that means next up we have the Roosters 18 defeating the Warriors 10 at Central Coast Stadium. The Roosters 18 tries to Tupanua, Kiri and Manu. Flanagan 3 of 3 conversions. And the Warriors, Malmalo and Katoa with tries. And Pompey 1 of 2 conversions.
Fucking RIP my sports bet account.
What was the bet, 13 plus or
yes.
more?
Well, the Roosters 13 plus was involved in a couple of multis.
Yeah.
Every time I got fucked up here, then I'd roll over and be like, that's okay. I'll just make up for it in this one. And the next one I was
chasing.
Exactly. I was fucking chasing the dragon. And so the next one I fucking dumped it into was the Knights and the fucking Bulldogs.
That's a straight up degenerate shit.
Oh man, Stepdad's eating spaghetti out of a tin this week. I hope the date's like the fucking surf and turf for $9.95 at the local fucking workers club.
But look, all credit to the Warriors. I mean, the only problem with the Warriors, you just can't fucking call these guys.
Mm.
I mean, 1 week they're absolutely slaughtered, like they're never going to win another game.
Yep.
The next week they show heart and they're in it up to their eyeballs.
Look, and again, they had their players leave. They seem to have every excuse to just finally turn around and play shit, but they don't do it then.
Yeah.
So whatever the fuck's going on behind the scenes with them, can you please just let the rest of us know when they're planning on having good games and when they're having shit games?
Especially those who are investing in the outcomes of said games.
And you look at this Roosters team, and through parts of the game, the Warriors had some patches of form. But this Roosters team, one of their biggest strengths now is they've got that Melbourne Storm-like big dick swagger about them where they know, okay, we can get ourselves into a little bit of a hole here, or we can come up against something that's a little bit unexpected. And coming up against a Warriors team like that was a little bit unexpected. but they've got some very simple things that they can go back to and execute very well. And they know and they've got faith that it's going to get them home. They completed at 82%. They only made 8 errors for the entire game. They're a tight football team. And when you get into those shitty situations, the fewer variables you have to control, like you dropping the ball and where you hand the ball over, the better it is. So, as much as this was an uptick for the Warriors,
it still would have been the most pleasing aspect of the game, I think, for Robinson as well, because the Roosters have looked dominant and extremely comfortable at times in games over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then they've just had this fucking terrible period, like just after half time.
Yep.
Where the other team has gotten straight back into the game, or in the case of, the Canberra game last week, where that's given them the ascendancy to actually get themselves a lead that they could then hold on to.
Yes.
And it almost was one of those things where it sort of started getting to the point where you think, oh shit, is this, this is like a habit.
Yep.
And this is happening, like it's a recurring thing that's happening every game.
Yes. But
it looks like they've the potential embarrassment of being defeated by the Warriors
motivated them
and got their shit together.
Nice one. Not many tweets on this one. Winston Bunk said, "Fucking Roosters ruined my multi. How could they not score 13 plus against the Choice Bros? I feel your fucking pain, sir. I feel your pain." What that means, though, is that this week you just need to double down. Because the Warriors are not winning 2 in a row.
As they say, the more you put on, the more you get back.
And neither are the fucking Bulldogs, for that matter. And Bethany said, "Roosters suck. Storm are better now. We at least were able to put 50 on the Warriors, whereas these nufties couldn't even put 20 on them."
All right. The Cronulla Sutherland Sharks 28 defeated the Dragons 24 out at Jubilee. The Sharkies tries to Jack Williams, Sean Johnson, Sione Katoa, Will Kennedy, Aaron Woods, and Sean Johnson 4 of 5 conversions. The Dragons 24 tries to Fuimaono, a double to Zach Lomax and Ravalawa. Lomax 3 of 4 conversions and a penalty goal. A little controversial, this one. It's always like the big brother, little brother derby.
Yes.
So it gets spicy on the socials.
Yep.
But a decision in the game by the bunker, which did result in the bunker being stood down immediately, or for the for the next day. I didn't see it as like it was one of those. It was one of those classic ref's fault situations where, sure, if you added the 6 points, subtracted the 6 points from the Sharks, then the Dragons would have won 24-22. But the point where it happened in the game was where the Dragons were actually on top.
Yes.
And I guess they allowed it to derail everything they were doing.
Yep.
And and then they fell significantly behind as well after that point. They did a great job of attempting to come back, and holy shit, they came close to pulling it out on their last 2 sets with the ball. I mean, mere centimeters, but you can't get yourselves into these situations. I mean, it was an egregious error. I mean, like, the whole reason the bunker comes in is so the cunts have got all the angles and the rewind, fast forward, and slow motion, and the rest of it, so they can see blatantly obvious shit like that.
Yep.
But what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. And coming from someone whose team built a fucking identity on shitty starts to games, letting teams get out to what you would assume is an insurmountable lead, and then somehow clawing it back and winning games in the last minute. I think it was like 4 weeks in a row.
Yep.
When Penrith had that run a couple of years back. It's not sustainable. And the counter-argument is that, it's an 80-minute game, and as long as you get it done within the 80 minutes, it doesn't matter when you get it done. Well, it fucking does, because at the end of the game, at the very end of the game, you're running on fumes.
Yep.
Especially if the other team's been ahead and you've been chasing. You're running on fucking fumes. So the chances of you fucking up increase exponentially the longer the game goes towards the final siren. The Dragons are at least playing with a little bit more belief in themselves.
Almost definitely.
And that goes a long way. I still don't think their halves are doing enough. Looking at how they could be performing and with the strike power they've got, and still with that forward pack, that's a very talented and mobile forward pack. Yep. I think they should be taking much more advantage of the 6 again rule than they currently are. And they're not a top 8 side this year. But, Jesus, what a fucking change. From a couple of weeks ago, it's dire straits and sack the coach and they're not going to win anything else.
Yep.
To now, all of a sudden, everyone's all optimistic and they can see the improvement week on week and they're happy for everything to keep rolling.
Yeah, exactly. And the problem with it is that Ben Hunt is vastly improved and far better utilised from a value for money perspective.
Yeah.
Where he is as starting in the 9.
Yes.
But still, there's just some bad fucking options too. Like at the end of that game when it was there for the winning and they were coming on strong and putting on the points towards the end.
Yeah.
There were so many occasions where he just kept persisting down the one side when he had... I mean, Dufty has become so important to that side that he's kind of the guy like Parramatta want to get it to Sivo.
Yep.
And he's one of these players where he's the player where you want to get it to try and make some shit happen.
Yep.
When the chips are down.
Yes.
And even though they were rolling on and looking at coming over the top of the Sharks at the end, there was still some terrible options taken there in terms of getting the ball in the hands of the people who needed it.
Yeah, that's it. Which you can't do when you're chasing points. Your margin for error shrinks massively.
Yep.
Troy said, we've fallen into the old Cowboys way of playing. Throw defence out the window and just score more points than the rest. And fuck you all. # shark hating cunts. Yes, you have. That's exactly how you're playing now. Winston Bunk said, the bunker could not bunker on the bunkerest day of its life with an electrified bunker machine. # bunker's fault. Didn't see the bunker dropping any balls. Devon Head said, whatever we're paying Lomax and Dufty isn't enough. Hunt and Smooth Corey should be giving up half their pay packets to them. Well, they probably should be. And @ JDHD44 said, no excuses for the Dragons. Got gang fucked through the middle, and even that useless cunt Aaron Woods 11 scored. For fuck's sake. Yes, they did let Aaron Woods score, and that was the fucking softest try you will see all year. And they
it goes past soft and into the disrespectful try.
Yes.
Category, and didn't he love it too?
That's it. Absolute shit stain of a fucking human.
Honestly, how hard is that guy to read from week in, week out? I mean, he is truly the most average and worst of rugby league all in a single 80-minute period.
Yeah, exactly.
I would never say he's the best. I can't imagine a time I've ever seen him be the best on the field.
Not at all.
But where are we? The Raiders. The Raiders 18 defeat the Rabbitohs 12 at GIO. The Raiders tries through Kotrick, Croker and Semi Valemi. Croker 2 of 3 conversions and a penalty goal. The Rabbits 12 tries to Gagai and Reynolds. Reynolds 2 of 2 conversions. Good grief, Souths are a disappointing football side.
They are this year, aren't they?
And haven't Canberra actually improved since Hodgson was injured?
Yeah, interesting.
It's like it's galvan. I mean, is he a massive cunt or something? Because it feels like the team's galvanised around.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe they just needed a reason. You know,
sure.
Maybe they just needed something to give them a little bit of fucking starch in what they were doing. Hey, Josh is out for fucking however long. It's a terrible injury. Fucking poor him. Let's all get together and do it for him. Yep. Maybe. You know, who fucking knows? For Canberra, the worry I had with them, or the risk I saw for them, was that the game the week prior was so fucking draining. Like, you know that was an emotional game for them.
Yeah.
And you know that they were there, 100% for that Roosters game. But they came out, and while it was far from perfect, they really got down and they're getting back into that style of football that they showed at the back end of last season. Where if they need to get gritty, they can get gritty. They don't have the polish that they showed last year when they were making their run towards the grand final. They had this wonderful style of play where they could get down and grind with you and grind with you and grind with you, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere just put on these fucking silky smooth offensive movements. And they don't have that this year. But they were doing enough, and even with the loss of good old Chance in the back, who, what did he end up getting? It was a compound dislocation.
Yep.
Oh,
everyone got everyone got their compound after being teased with one with Corey Oates the week before.
Yes,
they finally got a disgusting fucking injury.
Oh, fucking hell! That's doing that. You know that thing where you just hear about something, and it just fucking tingles you right down in the chotis. Fucking hell! Oh, and not a good tingle either. It's like that fucking soul shaker. The Raiders are winning, but it's not pretty.
And then the Rabbits, I mean, they're just look, they've had their fullback dramas and then injuries to the ones who should be the fullbacks and so on, but...
Yeah, I feel that that's no longer an excuse.
Their inability to generate attack, though...
Yeah.
Is such a massive problem. And I mean, we could say what we want about the whole, about Seabold, but that was the most beautiful thing about their game last year. Was their attack.
Yes.
So...
And it seems to me that they go away from what they're fucking good at. Like, South, again, under Seabold and the early Wayne days, it was get a roll through the middle, just keep rolling, compress them, and then all of a sudden, we've got 4 of the fastest fucking beings that have ever existed on the planet over on our left side.
Yep.
So once we've compressed the fuck out of everybody, let's spread the ball.
Yeah, and like deep, like a deep back line, and numbered up, man on man with the defensive line in front of them, yet somehow coming out at the end of the sweeping movement with an overlap.
But where I think South Sydney are letting themselves down is, again, over 30 missed tackles in a game.
Yep.
And they never had those defensive liabilities in them previously. There's some communication issues across the park with the Raiders, and teams are making breaks far too easily. But I think if they fix that up, they'll go a long way towards giving themselves more opportunities in attack and hopefully putting more points on.
Hit some tweets.
Life is a thigh day on Twitter said, the clear shrinkage of my manhood while watching the game live shows that winter penis is a real thing and Canberra in Canberra is now in full swing. Fucking good on you for getting out to some live football, sir. Kat in the Facebook group said, 10th position, time for the super coach to start blaming everyone else while secretly talking to his next club and stripping the roster so it's shit when he leaves. Fucking bitter much. Ian said, an ugly victory as they come. This season is a massive slog. Yes, it is, sir. And Dan said, why didn't Croker get sent to the bin for picking up that loose ball in an offside position? You don't get any more blatant than that. If he doesn't pick up the ball, South score. That was a cracker kick by Reynolds against the grain and right between the winger and fullback. It's an interesting point. Correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding was that a professional foul needed to be on a player.
Oh, shit. I'm the wrong person to ask about that.
Well, that was just my understanding. In that, picking up the ball from an offside position, is a penalty. However, it can't be deemed a professional foul because it was not on a player in a try-scoring situation. That was my understanding of it. I may be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, professional fouls don't have to be in a try-scoring situation either, though. You know what I mean? They can be anything like run into, guy takes a quick tap and you tackle him and you haven't retreated the 10 and, that could be anywhere on the field. It's not a try-scoring situation there. But,
yeah, true. But they have to be on a player.
I'll have to get clarification.
Somebody.
Call us NRL HQ.
Yes, that's it.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I don't trust the bunker to tell us because, the fuck they know.
Exactly.
Is that it for the tweets? Right, in the second best game of the round, Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs 18 defeat the Newcastle Knights 12 at McDonald Jones Stadium. The Doggies tries to Tolman, Fatala Mariner and Avarillo. Meany with the conversion. Avarillo got a couple. The Knights 12 tries to Heimel Hunt and Sione Matautia. Callum Ponga 2 of 2 conversions.
What a fucking bloodbath.
It's a beautiful thing. The Dogs played that late season doggy style.
Yep.
And they did well getting themselves to an 18-0 lead.
Yes.
They played to the conditions.
Yeah.
So well.
Yep. Or
maybe I'm giving them too much credit and the conditions played to their lack of ability, and it sort of leveled the playing field massively in terms of what the teams were permitted to do. I mean, for the Doggies, they were permitted to do pretty much everything they could do.
Yeah.
For the Knights, obviously the handbrake was on a little bit. However, despite that, I mean, defensively, they did a great job for the most part of the game. I mean, the Knights really did start to push them there towards the end. And, I mean, this game was there for the winning for the Knights. That was the other thing. I mean, sure, they got ambushed and went down 18-0. But they were back into this game at 18-12, and I think there was like 13 minutes or something, and they were getting very good attacking position.
Yeah.
And winning the general back and forth of the game.
Yeah.
All the way up until the end of the match.
If you look at the stats here, this is one of those games where the stats lines a lot of the time are confusing. Newcastle had 6 line breaks to 3.
Yep.
Included in that, they had over 1,900 run meters to the Dogs 1,500. They won almost every important statistical category except the scoreboard.
Yep.
The Knights missed 15 tackles all game. The Dogs missed 33.
Yep.
And generally in a situation where one club misses over 30 tackles, you expect to see at least half a blowout against that club, but the Dogs held on.
Yeah, I would put it to you that much of those statistics, like the negative ones, I reckon a lot of that came in that last 20 minutes when the Knights were surging, hey?
Yeah.
Like in terms of the missed tackles and things like that.
Oh, no, yeah, 100%.
I would love to see a breakdown, like more like, sort of segment by segment.
But let's say the Knights had 10. Let's say they had 4 sets.
Yep.
That's 20 tackles.
Yep.
They're not missing 20 out of 30 tackles in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The Knights are really lacking a fucking half that can get them out of shitty situations.
Yep.
And as everybody knows, I don't think that's Mitchell Pearce. I think Mitchell Pearce has a window at the beginning of a game to really get in and grab it by the scruff of the neck and stamp his dominance on that game. And if he can do that, he is amongst the best halves. He can steer a team around like almost no one else, and he can manage a game exceptionally well. He is not the guy to chase down victories for you.
Well, I mean, there was that 100-minute game back in the day where it was the most famously chased down game ever.
Yeah.
There was that. But other than that, yeah, no, I agree with you. But the thing that I really enjoyed about this game more than anything else was I really loved it how the Knights got back to 18-12 And it was almost like directly at that moment, everything that Kalen Ponga touched from that point on turned to shit. He couldn't get... He was kicking the ball out on the full. He's dropping it. He's like it was just...
Yeah, the pressure's showing on the kid.
Well, what the weight of expectation of the Newcastle Knights fans is showing on him, and the weight of the narrative that they've placed on him is showing.
Yeah,
and he just wants to be the player that we say he is.
Yeah,
and he obliged us.
Yep.
So shout out to Kalen Ponga. Hit some tweets.
Jason said the last 20 minutes of that game gave me flashbacks of last week's game where we let in 3 tries in the last 15 minutes to lose the game. Thankfully, we hung on today. The season is a write-off for us, but to see the boys put in and really give to teams what they think they can just roll over puts a smile on my face. There you
Sir, go. Don't fall for this write-off thing. This is the thing is this win, like you guys are superior to the Broncos in for and against. All you need to do is just get some wins up.
Yeah,
and at the point you get your wins, you just have to maintain parity with the Broncos.
That's it.
They're never going. You're never going to get enough floggings. The style of play you have and the defense you have, you're never going to get enough floggings that they're going to beat you in for and against.
Correct.
They've suffered like a couple of 50-0 games.
Yeah, that's
this season.
They're gone. Phil said, "Fucking hell, Newcastle! Even the Broncos didn't lose to that rabble." Hashtag RIP my multi. Yes, I feel your pain as well, sir.
That Broncos versus Dogs game is going to be so fucking critical.
Later
in the wash up of the season. I mean, if this, the Doggies would be 2 points clear of them at this point.
Yeah, they would.
Had that result been reversed, and the Broncos would be almost certainly consigned to their first wooden spoon.
Yes. God damn it, Bulldogs.
Yep.
Eddie said, "Fuck yes, up the Dogs. Let's go on another late season resurgence and narrowly miss out on the 8. Daniel said, "I haven't seen so many hookers go down in 80 minutes since my trip to the Philippines 7 years ago." There you go.
There's big problems for the Knights going forward too.
Lacking, I was going to say lacking a bit of depth, but they weren't. They had fucking sensational depth. It was just that all of their hookers keep getting injured.
Yeah, like all of the depth died.
Yeah.
In the one game, yeah.
Matt said, "Fuck the hype train, fuck the schoolgirl fuckers, fuck Barrett, fuck O'Brien, fuck my life." There you go. Danny said, "What the fuck? What the fucking fuck? I hope O'Brien gives him a heavy case of whoop ass on the training paddock this week." There you go. To which David replied, "Suck my dick from the back, you hype train pallet making cucks." Mick, first time writer in, I believe, says, "I look at this and laugh, then I look at it and laugh some more. He is a Dogs supporter." Fucking take those moments where you can, sir.
Exactly.
Stacey Gavrily on Twitter said, "Dogs showed something last week against the Dragons and built from there. Knights are going the other way, backwards, with injury problems." Yes, they are. Boo Vaudry said, "Ponga is like an ex-girlfriend who you used to fuck when you were 18. Then you fuck her again in your mid-20s, only to realise that the only reason she was such a good root is because you hadn't fucked as many girls back then. Hashtag not actually that good." What a fucking analogy, sir. And
what a catch, too. What a catch.
Ben Dunn 43 said, "The Knights are just rugby league fans that want to see the Broncos get the wooden spoon. I, for one, applaud their loss." There you go. Flying the flag for your shit cunt brother who fucking Judased us all and said he didn't know us when he needed to move to America.
Fancy moving to America at this time, though.
Well,
Jeez.
They say that one twin gets all the smarts.
Yep.
The other twin just gets anally raped by dildos.
Yep. Panthers 22 defeated the Titans 14 at Hope Solo Coliseum. The Panthers 22 came through tries to Mansour, Crichton, Isaiah Yeo, and Malachi Watene-Zelezniak.
Fucking malarkey.
Three or four conversions for Cleary. Titans 14 tries to Fogarty, Kelly, and Don. Ash Taylor, 1 of 3 conversions. Did you get down to this one?
No, I didn't. Just getting tickets was too fucking hard.
This is garbage weather too.
It was garbage weather. I had the young fella with me, and I'd been down to the coast. It was my young niece's first birthday the day before, so I'd already been to the Gold Coast once.
Yep, and that's more than enough for anyone.
That's more than enough for anyone. I've lost my train of thought.
Panthers were pushed mightily by the Titans despite dominating in the first exchanges, and the Titans were really only the Titans were getting bent over so bad. This was looking like it was going to be a 50.
Yeah,
one of those sorts of games, and then Fogarty got the intercept, went length of the field, scored the try.
Yeah.
And then it still resumed. The analing resumed again with that try from Isaiah Yeo, I think it was. And still, the Titans managed to somehow find a way to come back and actually make it a game at half-time.
The Titans seem to always want to get up against the Panthers, even from their very, very early days. Preston Campbell didn't leave the club on bad terms.
Yeah.
But I guess even before revenge games were a massive thing, he'd always want to get one back over the old club. This game was a danger spot for Penrith. They had some massive fucking outs, like almost half the team was out. And there were a couple of moments in this game that it was fucking the ghost of Panthers past turned up and fucking haunted me. And it was things like Mansour doing dumb shit on the wing in defence.
Yep.
The positives out of that, though, is where previously, if we let a team like the Titans get back in, it was especially dangerous if it was a team that we should have beaten easily. Those were the games that we'd struggle in. But the guys showed again that they can just get back to their game plan, stick to a little bit of resolve, and get the win. It wasn't something that they'll look back on and be 100% proud of. But there was enough actual fucking hard-nosed, pull your fucking socks up and get in and do some hard work performances by enough of them that I'm not unhappy with the result. Especially the fact that, again, it was another opportunity for Nathan Cleary to get in, grab the ball, demand it when he wanted it, and really make sure that he led that team around, because he was instrumental in that second half in keeping them in the game.
And your old mate Isaiah,
most underrated man in rugby league, apart from James Fisher-Harris.
He actually came back to try and reclaim that crown in this game. Exactly,
but he won't get it. That's how criminally underrated he is. So it's ironic, it's bitter, but that's what you get, Isaiah. The Nang Baron said, this game is an example of being let down by not having a big forward pack. Looking forward to next year when our new recruits come. Fucking you would be. Shunter said, an understrength Panthers get through what would have been in seasons past back-to-back shit-the-bed games and keep on rolling. My Penrith traumatic stress disorder was well and truly triggered by this game, but I'm sure the doctor at Kingswood Station could prescribe me some healing crystals to help with it. He fucking could too. Sharky Dave said, all shit aside, that was a really mature display from young Nathan. Kicked long early and kept turning the Titans around. Really showed up Pearce today for the fraud he is. Didn't he just? Rishi said, Sauce drops the ball on our line. The opposition scores straight away. It's 2019 all over again. We can dig our way out of this, but bloody hell, even the Titans don't just hand out wins. You still got to, play good and stuff. Norts said, pleasantly surprised with this game. We didn't suck as much as the Knights. No, you did not. Fat Harry Lazy said, that was a real dig from the boys. Had it all against us. Future immortals on the sidelines, ref gifting Titans tries. Nothing can hold back the hashtag Eerie of Cleary. I fucking love how hard he is leaning into this.
Well, I mean, he has to. He has to really. I mean, it's his thing, right? So, well, it's his baby.
It's the pending hashtag of the year, and has now gone mainstream. Which, I mean, it's being used elsewhere outside the realms of the show. With the official.
Yeah, I mean, mainstream. I mean, it's just outside. I mean, it's like saying it's a bit over the top to say mainstream. I mean, like another podcast used it on their
Man.
Twitter account or something.
See? Why you have to go and be like that?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, this is the problem. Like the hashtag, the player, all of this.
Don't be that guy.
There's a lot.
Don't be that guy. It's not fun at parties. It's not fun here.
The way you're speaking about the hashtag and the player that inspired it is the same way that Knights fans speak about Callum Ponga. That's what you sound like. Okay, I'm just telling you this as a friend.
Well, the way a vegan patty's cooked to put on a burger is the same way a beef one's cooked. Doesn't make them the same. Doesn't make them taste the same. So we are not the same, ho. We are not the same.
I'm telling you, they look the same. They smell the same. I wouldn't take a bite of the filthy motherfuckers either way. So I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to comment on the taste. But if it looks like a shitty vegan burger, it smells like a shitty vegan burger,
then it's probably got headgear over its fucking surprise rang and noggin.
Yeah, I mean, obviously if headgears, came with large customizable chin straps, perhaps we'd see some on there as well. Previews coming up for round 12 of the 2020 NRL season. First game we have is the Dragons take on the Rabbits on Thursday night at Jubilee. The Dragons side, Adam Clune and Trent Merrin are both in the concussion protocol. They miss out. That sends Hunt to halfback, McInnes to hooker, and Jackson forward to lock. Jordan Pereira back from suspension, replacing Saab, and Tariq Sims returns with Fuimono benched. Tristan Saylor on the interchange in 17. And the Rabbits, Latrell returns. Alex Johnson goes to the wing. Corey Allen drops out of the 17. Liam Knight and Patrick Margot are in with Jack Johns and Harmy Selly out. Now, so we speak about the disappointment of the Rabbitohs at the moment. I'm loath to tip the Dragons with the changes they've had. I mean, their recent good spurt, I feel, is kind of predicated on Ben Hunt 9, Adam Clune getting more game time, that sort of thing. So I don't know if they're going to be able to maintain what they've been doing lately.
Yeah.
However, there is a great opportunity for them here. Because, as we've said, South are very disappointing lately.
Yeah, they are.
Can they turn it around? Are they going to turn it around now they've got Latrell back? I mean, is he going to be dynamic in attack? Is he going to be in position in defence?
I think the risk-reward on that is interesting because if you look at Latrell, he's been a min-max addition for them 100%.
Yep.
For this season. He's had those games where he has been fucking amazing Latrell that's been throwing super cutout passes to put guys into space. Or he's been that Latrell that fucking drops it every time he goes near the ball. So which one shows up to play?
Yeah.
I don't know if that Dragons pack is going to be able to handle the Rabbits pack, and I say that understanding that they've been disappointing as well, but they had a big game last week against Cronulla, and for them to back it up against another fairly large and aggressive forward pack is going to be a tough ask. I think this one will come down to the quality in the halves, and that's where Souths have it all over the Dragons. So I'm going to tip Souths.
I mean, as disappointing as Souths have been, I mean, it's just as likely to come out and smash the Dragons in this game.
Yeah.
But I still consider it to be a big opportunity. It's unfortunate that the concussions that have robbed the Dragons of it's seemingly their best lineup, but still an opportunity to get the Souths to get the Rabbits when they're kind of down.
Yep.
The Tigers take on the Warriors in the pub slot. This one taking place at the SCG. 21-man squad for the Tigers sees the return of Alex TWiL into lock, Luke Garner to second row, and Russell Packer was suspended, and Cheekham, which we didn't mention in the actual game, and knocked the fuck out. And
that was sickening. That was so fucking bad.
Yeah, because it wasn't just like a knockout; it was also like a breakdancing battle at the same time.
Was
from Cheekham, and that shit was. And we don't, considering the nature of the game, I mean, we don't see that kind of thing too much, thankfully, because, I mean, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Eisenhuth is out. McIntyre drops the bench. McHaley's back after missing last week. And Josh Reynolds returns from suspension in 18 at the moment. So the whole musical chairs from Madge.
Yep.
Seems to be continuing at the moment. And for whatever reason, he seems to be stuck on Benji and Billy Walters for now.
Well, it hasn't been a terrible combination.
No, but I mean, like, they still leak the tries.
Yeah, they do.
Like, it just seems like if they leak a try, then they're gone next week.
Yep.
Because there's sort of no pick and stick. But, The Warriors. Okay, so this week is another thing we didn't cover it in the news, but the Eels have actually thrown them some players, and not only that, I mean, they've thrown them some players that have been in their first grade side this season, in George Jennings and Daniel Alvaro.
Yep.
And so they'll come straight into the side. So Jennings goes straight to the wing. Daniel Alvaro will start from the bench, and the big losses, of course, last week was the last game for David Fusatua and Ken Marmalo.
Yep.
So they've headed back to New Zealand. So Herbert comes in on the wing as well. Wade Egan comes on interchange and replaces Chanel Harris-Tavita.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'd love to tip the Warriors, because you look over those teams, and in a non-Rona lockdown world, that Warriors team is still stacked with fucking talent. I don't
certainly when you compare it to the Tigers, like it's like you look at them on paper and go, yeah, these teams are not evenly matched, but there's a contest there.
Yeah, that's it. But I can't go past the Tigers here.
You know what? This is the type of game. I mean, based on the Warriors last week, and this is the type of game where like the Tigers are going to get a significant for and against bump, and they're probably going to win by 50.
Yep.
It just seems to be the way of the Warriors season this year.
Yeah, that's it.
The Broncos take on the Sharks at Suncorp Stadium. The Broncos side, more changes abound. Brodie Croft is out injured. Milford moves back to 5'8". Darius Boyd moves back to fullback.
Jesus Christ.
And Herbie Farnworth moves to centre. Richie Kenner returns to the wing from injury. Jake Turpin's back. And Corey Pakes drops out of the 17. Isaac Luke and Ethan Bullimore return on the bench, with Tyson Gamble and Jamal Hopewade cut out of the 17.
So Darius at fullback, that means every line break equals a try.
Essentially, yes.
Yes, okay, good.
Remember Darius at fullback the last time he was at fullback?
It was wonderful.
It was that glorious era where you'd get all the memes and the gifs of him just diving out of the way, like to ensure that he had no possible, like he wasn't within a mile of the player who was going to score the try.
That's it.
Sharkies, Dugan's back. It'll be his 200th game in the NRL. Bryson Goodwin drops to reserves. Connor Tracy
Dugan
joins. Yeah.
Are they not pro-ratering that shit? Is that
Well, you're saying he has to spend a certain amount of a single game on the field for it to count as a game?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I see it. I don't hate it.
So it's his fucking 12th game. Let's slow your roll. Fucking green whistle fiend.
I can't remember where it was. Connor Tracy joins Johnson in halves. Chad Townsend injured, of course. Rudolph starts at lock, with Talakai and Williams both benched. Look, anyone but Brisbane, really.
Yeah.
There's not a single scenario where you could confidently tip the Broncos this season, and I don't give a fuck who they're playing.
Add to that, they're travelling. Oh, hang on. Are they?
No, yeah. Well, they're travelling. Yeah.
No, you're right. It's at Suncorp.
travelling to Milton.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah.
Big trip. You know, there's a lot going on inside that club. It's the week after Fafita's said that he's leaving. You know, really, how motivated is he? You ever wondered if someone could be less motivated than you've seen out of that Broncos team? Now's your opportunity to find out.
He's not even playing now, is he? Or is he?
I don't know.
He's still injured, isn't he?
Probably. Fucking cat. But the Sharks' strength is in their forward pack, but also in that right-hand side when you get Johnson running through and Ramian, who's just fucking big and powerful. And the Broncos are going up against that.
Yep.
So
to their credit, they've removed Darius Boyd from that equation.
Yeah, that's true.
At least on the front line. Look, I can't imagine. Look, this may sound like a contradiction, but I can't imagine a scenario where the Sharks, where the Sharks can lose this game.
That's it.
However, I can definitely imagine scenarios where the Sharks will be the type of team to lose this game.
Yes.
It shouldn't happen in any kind of society, normal society, but this is 2020.
Yes.
And I'm still not tipping the Broncos. Hell no.
No.
Where are we? What's next? The Roosters take on the Titans. Saturday afternoon, the SCG. Brett Morris is out. Ryan Hall replaces him. Gold Coast Titans, what do they got? Hipgrave comes in for Sam Stone, the second row, and Lasoni replaces Whitbread on the interchange.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
good performance last week from the Titans. Not going to be good enough to take out the Roosters.
It's not.
It's just not.
The Titans have had some performances this year where they've stepped up. You know, they did it against the Broncos.
Yep.
They did it against Penrith. I'm not sure they've got enough in them to step up here.
And doing it back to back as well is not something that they've shown us they can do either.
Mm.
So if we consider last week to be their good performance, then ergo, this one should be flat.
You put your house on it.
Yeah, no, you did that last week, and now look at you. You're fucking broadcasting from a fucking shipping container.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
covered in the detritus of Ukrainian sex slaves. Which,
you know, all in all, hasn't worked out too badly.
It's kind of an upgrade if you think about it.
That's it. You know, I got one of those nice curtains from that fucking Liam Neeson movie where he's looking for his daughter.
Yeah, what was that movie about when those guys they had taken his daughter? What'd they call it?
Oh, she'd gone somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they grabbed her and just took off.
Yeah.
I don't know, tooken something.
I think it was the guys that stole the daughter.
Tooken. Tooked. The tookta.
Toke. The Cowboys take on the Raiders at the abattoir, as it's known now, after some terrible performances. The Cowboy side, Lemuelu replaces Mitch Dunn in the centres. Jordan McLean pushes murderous Frank to the bench, and Ruben Cotter is out, and Hampton is out of the 17 as well. The Raiders, Rapiner comes in for Nickel Klokstad at fullback. Curtis Scott is recalled to the centres, with Nick Kotrick moving to the wing. Bateman is back, with Hudson Young shifting to lock, and Kai O'Donnell out, and the new appointment of Corey Harawira-Naira makes his club debut on the bench, with Harley Smith-Shields dropping to reserves.
What a fucking in. Like, I am a massive CHN fan. If I do have a comment about him, can be that sometimes he tries a little hard. Like, sometimes he'll just push it when he doesn't need to.
Yep.
That's the risk for him going into this game. So as long as Ricky can temper that a little bit and just give him a very simple role to play, he should be absolutely fine. And I think it will suit the style of football that Canberra play. You know, they've got some very big forwards that roll up the middle. So having him lurking around the edge, he's just as adept at picking up short kicks that a hooker or a half can put through. And I don't want to talk like CHN is going to be the make or break in this game. He's not. He's coming back from a very, very long time on the sidelines. No football under his belt. Has been absolutely
fucking solid that he's forced his way into the side though.
Yeah, or it could just be that Ricky's gone, okay, well, if we're going to need you for a push late season, we'd better start getting you fit now. I think the lack of reserve grade's got more to do with him playing first grade than his ability. You know, his natural ability can't be denied.
Yeah.
But you'd be guaranteed that if he had a reserve grade to go to, that's where they'd bring him up.
Yeah.
In saying that, I'm going to tip the Raiders in this one.
Yep, I'll be tipping the Raiders as well. The Mighty Manly Seagulls take on the Penrith Panthers. Just goes to show like how little with this weird ass season. Just like even just looking at the draw and shit, I was actually like taken by surprise that was this week. That was this weekend. I mean, obviously recent form. Both sides have been, the last couple of weeks we've been good. Panthers have been great for, pretty much since the fucking since the bat hit the fork. But they've suffered a couple of injuries that have kind of certainly reduced their effectiveness over the last couple of weeks, and they've had some pretty close games against teams that don't deserve to be kept close in a contest in the Cowboys and the Gold Coast Titans. So in an injury affected season, it's the best time that this game could have happened for Manly, I think, because it sort of 2 weeks ago we had everybody out and you were pretty much full strength.
Yeah.
And now we've got everybody out still. However, you've got a couple of out as well. So
yeah, that's it. So it's going to be a fucking massive task for Penrith to get over this one.
If you're a betting man, and we've established that you most certainly are, I mean, you would certainly want to put all of your money on Penrith to win this one, and win it well. But
well, this is what, and I put this to you today. I proposed a fucking bet for us to have because, you go on to the good old days where I'm going to do some, pathetic cuck shit like let you paint my face or, whatever fuck the last one used to do. But I put to you that there is a very professional looking young lady on Twitter at Call Charlotte X who claims to be, and this is an unsubstantiated claim, I know, but she doesn't look like the sort of lady that goes around making frivolous claims.
I mean, it is the internet after all.
Exactly.
And people have standards.
She claims to be Australia's pegging queen.
Yeah. Not interested
and
in that at all.
I put to you that the loser of this match, next time we are allowed in Sydney, because she's in Sydney, ends up...
I didn't even look that far, yeah.
Taking a pegging as a visual representation of what the other host's team has done to their soul. Now, on her website...
That is... Yeah. Oh, you've gone to her website, have you?
Oh, she got a website. She has strap-ons as small as DCE's dick. So she has little 3 inches that she can start you off on. If you want to do it, you can, you can do it doggy style, or you can do it fucking, enema style, legs up in the air.
You've really gone to the website.
I've done more research for this section of the show than I did for any of the games coming up.
I was going to say, and it feels like the only problem is, like, I feel like that you would prefer if this game were like if Tom Trebojevic was playing, because I feel like this is something that's more an itch that you're looking to scratch than anything else.
No, I love an analogy. I fucking love an analogy.
You put the anal in analogy.
Now, it's not like I'm demanding to peg you.
Lord knows you've been there and pegged men in the past.
Well, that's just called butt sex, you know.
I mean,
but
well, I was talking more about the forehand you put on. Ooh, inside baseball.
But this is my proposal that we let our good friend at call Charlotte X peg the loser.
Yeah. You know what?
I'll even put it on my OnlyFans.
That's degenerate shit that the likes of Chapo would agree to and then renege on.
Exactly. And you're twice the man that he is.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't bet on football. Period. Honestly,
sad.
I think that avatar bets are the fucking lowest form of stupidity going around, but that's second.
So what,
and
what you're
of course,
saying
Manly
is
13 plus.
I should throw this bet out to Levius and Giannis.
I think that fucking Giannis owes him a pegging. Honestly, he had his Twitter account.
Okay. Look,
That's probably the only permutation of an avatar bet that I've ever seen, and I've looked at the result of it and gone, yeah, that's actually fucking hilarious.
I don't know, you know, the audience would love it. It would go down as one of the top 10 moments ever.
And when have I ever given you the impression that I give a fuck?
It's okay. I can tell you're scared. That's all right.
Like, frankly, I'm not the least bit interested in a pegging from a fucking dominatrix. You, however, are extremely interested in a pegging from a dominatrix. So if there's some way that you want to engineer this bet,
take the bet.
If there's some way you want to engineer this bet so that you get pegged no matter what, I'm very happy to do that.
No. Look, I don't even want to be in the room when it happens, but I want to be standing outside so I can hear it.
Yeah.
You know? I want to be standing outside that door and looking at it and experiencing firsthand fucking Schrodinger's sphincter. Because until I open that door, your sphincter is both a virgin and not a virgin. Take the bet, you fucking cuck.
No, I don't think I will.
Okay.
That is absolutely fucking ridiculous, degenerate shit, and I will not lower myself to your Saturday standards.
Penrith 13 plus.
Penrith should win 13 plus, but you know what? I just don't think they're going to. I think they're fucking due for a loss.
Fucking big talk when nothing's on the line.
Well, there's 2 points on the line, sir, in the NRL 2020 season.
Yes, but you're not giving those points.
And you could create any bet you want, but you wanted to create some fucking degenerate fucking bullshit. So unfortunately, I must decline.
Those 2 points are not being slowly slid into your balloon knot.
Exactly.
So
and that's exactly the way I'd like to keep it. The Doggies take on the Eels at ANZ Stadium. The Doggies, what do we got here? Tim Laffey is back with the Doggies and he's named in the centres. Kerrod Holland gets pushed to the reserves. Who we got there on the bench? Cogger and Suaso Sue joined the bench, and Tomaga and Wakeham are omitted. Tamaga goes to reserves. The Eels, Kane Evans and Oregon Kafusi are back on the bench. Takarangi and Stefano Toke Kamanu dropped to the reserves. Look, doggies, you did us a solid last week.
Yep,
massive solid. With Mitch Moses back in the side, the Eels starting their roll towards the business end of the season. I don't think you're going to play the spoilers this week, guys.
No.
The Eels are not the doggies. Are not the Knights. So I think the Eels are going to win.
Yes.
And dare I say, they're going to win fairly well.
Yes.
Storm take on the Newcastle Knights at Sunshine Coast Stadium. The Storm, what do we got here? Sevi replaces Brenko Lee in the centres. Eisenhuth replaces Momirovski on the interchange. And the Knights, Chris Randall is named at hooker, to which I say, who the fuck's that guy? McCulloch looks like it's a season-ending injury. Connor Watson is probably season-ending too, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
like it.
Phoenix Crossland, Josh King joined the bench. Sione Matauti is out, and Guerra returns to the starting side in the second row. Too much disruption for the Knights. Even if it wasn't, even if like Macca was there, there's still no way I'd be inclined to tip the Knights to win this game. I mean, they need to pull something out. I mean, because their performances have been pretty average for probably the last 4 weeks, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, and it's getting to the point where they were like a lock in. They were locked in top 4 side, and now they're in danger of slipping out the back of the 8 because I think they're 1 point ahead of the pack that sort of trade wins each week and could have finished the round anywhere from 7th to 10th. So once the Knights get behind that pack, 1 point behind that pack of teams, then their job becomes that much harder.
Yeah. The Knights were running a lot, I feel, on emotion and energy, and that's all fine and well, and you can definitely do that and win a range of football games at different stages of the season that way. But again, every season, this is where you start to see the milk and the cream separate. Those teams, like your Melbournes, like your Roosters, that when they don't run on energy, they fall back and run on processes. And I don't feel as if the Knights just have that level that they can drop down to. That might not be their best game, but is consistent and predictable, and they know what they're going to do throughout the course of 80 minutes. I don't think they've got that in them just yet. And the disruptions they've got to their personnel make that even more of a difficult thing to get. So yeah. I'm with you. I don't think there's any way I can tip the Knights here.
Oh, and that's it for the round. So there you go. Unlucky Knights. Okay, mailbag this week. Let me find my fucking notes. It's all askew thanks to this Rona separated fucking episode. I've lost them. Here we go. Okay, so the mailbag this week. First up from Aaron said, I'm surprised it really hasn't been discussed in the media, but how about AFB's back down on getting the needle? The prick buckled quicker than the button on my jeans. Well, I would actually challenge you to actually find anywhere that said that he got the jab. I'm not convinced he did. I'm not convinced that he didn't just get like a dispensation or a exemption, or how they were doing rolling those exemptions out and things for the Canberra guys and things like that. Because the club said that they weren't going to force him to do anything, and generally, like, when I saw other players talking about it, they were like, that's his business. He'll do what he's going to do, and he has no pressure. And there was never anything that said, "Oh, he got the jab." It was just that he'll be allowed to play. So I'm not even certain that he even got the jab. But if he did, I'm much more. I was saying this to talking to people, like Manly fans and things like that. And if he had because it was a dumb thing to cop the 2 weeks for calling the ref the fucking retard, even though he was. And so really missing a third game based on that whole shit, it would have just been the fucking death blow, I think, just for a lot of fans' sort of perception of him. And the only way he could possibly win people back after losing 2 weeks of gameplay would be to say, look, it's against what I believe, but I feel like I owe the boys blah blah blah. I owe the team, and then so as a result, I'm going to do this and do that. But I mean, he may have done it, and I mean that was the net result anyway because he played the game and was a key member of the team in that game. But I don't know if he did. But if someone, I looked up all the articles I could to see if there was actually any mention of him actually getting the shot, but I couldn't. None of them actually stated that. So I'm honestly not sure. Trent, given the Broncos have missed out on Fafita, who should they target next? I find it interesting they're at the Titans-Bulldogs stage of having to pay clubs to take players, e.g. Bird, and likely pay overs or take risks to get quality players. For example, Foran is being flouted as an option. Obviously a huge risk given his injury history, but can they get anyone better? Might just be captain of the rehab team to show them how to work off the field. I don't think they should target anybody next. I mean, the first thing that they need to do is clear these fucking big money, no performance contracts from their books.
That's it.
Then, and only then, can they start thinking about who's next.
Yes.
And that's not an immediate future. That's who's off contract at the end of next year.
It seems to be, and it would be one interesting thing that a draft would give to the NRL. If you look at all of these sports that have drafts or have relegation or things like that, when they're going through a rebuild, fans tend to put up with it for a little bit longer because the shit performances have a benefit.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas in the NRL, as soon as there's
the whole tanking for a draft pick.
That's it. But as soon as there's a period where there's below par performance, fans want something done that turns it around. And that's got us into this situation where it is kill the coach, this player's not working here, change their position, move this around. It's completely reactionary, and people want to change one week and a markedly different performance the next week.
And which gets you these situations like in the Tigers where
exactly,
Benji's dropped, Luke Brooks has dropped, Reynolds is put into the halves, but then he gets suspended, so we'll put in our second choice hooker in 5/8 and shit like that, and then the Broncos where it's like, Isako's in the side, Isako isn't in the side, Isako's the fullback, now Darius is the fullback, just shit like that. And look, the flip side of that reactionary shit is if you look at the Dragons. At the start of the season, it was like Dufty is, potentially not going to be, he's going to be moved on or whatever. But then Lomax is fullback. Now Lomax isn't fullback. We'll sack him after one game. Now Dufty is on. We'll sack him after one game. When they actually showed some fucking consistency and left the guys in the positions for a couple of weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Now Dufty's one of the form players.
Yep.
And he's a game changer for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what they wanted. Because fucking, surprise, surprise, they gave him the opportunity to
learn his
combination.
Learn his position.
So I don't think the Broncos should necessarily be targeting anyone next. They should be getting these useless cunts that are paying $900 to $1 million and more off the books.
Yep.
And then they can start truly rebuilding because then they will truly have the funds to do so.
And realistically, who's out there at the moment that you chase?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Foran's the answer for everyone. I mean, he's playing fucking great at the moment when he's on the field.
Yes.
And man, he's
Too much risk.
He's like half a game. You got half a game out of the guy.
Yeah, that's it. Like he busted a fucking toe.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that doesn't hurt. But
I mean, even Josh Dugan looked at that and was like, man, that guy's a pussy.
Yeah, exactly. But
and that guy sat out a game with a boil. That's what I'm saying.
But if the Broncos go chasing now, that's how you end up in a situation like the Dragons were in, where they needed a half and they were going to throw stupid money at whoever was available, and that's how they've ended up with $1 million a year hooker.
Yep.
So it would be silly, I think, for the Broncos to go to market at the moment when there's not somebody that they want to target.
Yep. Graham said, this is absolute bullshit. The NRL are letting the Roosters register SBW for 150-ish thousand after assessing his value at 400k. Where is some waiting for the finals? You could argue at least 75% of anyone's value is in the finals, plus the additional matches he'll be playing. He's playing 4 matches for 150, which prorates his value to 900k, sir. So your initial assertion is incorrect. And, we went through all the rest of this earlier in the show.
Yeah. Look,
Andy, sorry.
It's easy to be outraged.
Yeah.
But pick your battles. What do I want to say? Remember that all of the fucking stories you've seen about this are fucking clickbait. They want you to click on it and get fucking outraged about it and not sit down and think before you even open it, well, hang on. Yeah, if he's being paid this much for this much of this, and you know what? If he'd never played for the Roosters, then you might have the gripe. But he's obviously got solid relationships with very powerful people at the club, including Uncle Nick. And if I was coming back from overseas, if I just spent however long overseas doing something for my career, and I had the opportunity to come straight back to a place that I was familiar with, that's a little added benefit for me too. So, I get it. He's not at everyone's club. He can only go to one club. There's really no smoke here, man.
Yeah. And realistically, I mean, what other options were there for him? I mean, maybe go back to the Dogs as a redemption-y sort of, bookend storyline, but...
Really?
But,
Here's the thing. If the Bulldogs had a young pack of forwards, a young up-and-coming pack of forwards, then I reckon maybe you could have sold that to SBW as go back and be a mentor.
Yeah.
However, the Bulldogs don't have that. They've got a forward pack of past their prime fucking plotters that should have retired a couple of years back and are still playing rugby league like it's 2014.
Yeah.
And they're not the guys that are going to sit there and drink in the wisdom of Sonny Bill to improve their careers.
No, exactly. Instead, he can get $1.50 for potentially, winning a grand final.
Spot on.
Or at least playing finals football again.
Yeah, it's fucking Gasnier all over again.
Yeah. Well, Gasnier was a different situation, though, because they sort of had him at full freight, and then...
They back-ended him.
And then they they back-ended it for, for more money and less up front, and then he retired after taking the less part and didn't and didn't fulfill the part with the...
Yeah, that's it.
It's just... Fucking cunts. Andy said, how much would you want your club, in theory, to pay Milford? I think a decent coach could get good value out of him at, say, 600k. I think a decent coach could get good value out of him at 900 or whatever the fuck he's on now.
Yeah.
But that environment is clearly not great, and, could Craig Bellamy get something out of him? I don't know, probably.
Let's not forget, Milford was part of a halves pairing that took their team to a grand final and
took that team to within a tackle of winning a grand final.
That's it, and had that grand final all but won, except for maybe a 10-minute lapse in game management where they started playing defensive footy.
Yeah, which could have been instructions from above too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You don't really look at halves pairings in grand finals and say that either of them are bustards.
Yeah.
But I think Milford's a great example of rugby league players having guaranteed contracts.
Yep.
I think he's one of those personalities, he's one of those personas that as soon as he's guaranteed something... can you imagine Milford on just a bunch of different 2-year contracts?
Yeah.
So essentially, in his head, he's always on contract year.
He'd
be the best player in the league.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yep. Where are we here? We talked a bit about Kevy, so I won't go through there. On that one there. Ryan said, I'm not in Australia, so I'm unsure what to believe with what I'm seeing online. Is Queensland really closing the border? Will the Queensland teams relocate, or is the season cooked? Season's fine as of today. As of today, Queensland's going to honour the exemptions for the rugby league teams and everything. So at this stage, we're all good still. I don't want to start talking about Victorians again. But if these cunts have their way, maybe things, get worse from now. But I'm hoping that that's not the case. I think the worst case scenario for Brisbane or for Queensland and rugby league will be they just lock everyone down back to the level we were sort of at the end of March. And, zero fans at games.
Yep.
Restaurants and pubs and stuff closed and back to delivery only again, things like that. But so far, touch wood, still okay. Michael said, has anyone checked on Gallen? Surely he's lost the title of most hated by the Queensland population.
Yeah.
Yeah, who cares about Gallen, honestly?
Exactly. He's an absolute shit cunt player. He's the most losingest player to ever play the game. He fucked New South Wales Rugby League for a generation.
Yeah, him and his fucking partner in crime, Robbie Farah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Daniel says, odds of the Knights beating the Storm and inserting a pooper duper into Cameron Smith this weekend? 0. 0. Negative. I mean, is there such thing as negative odds? 0. No chance. Biggest said, NRL Bachelorette, forgetting who already actually has partners, who would you love to see in one of those houses trying to contend for a girl's affections?
Say that again?
NRL Bachelorette. So forget which players have partners. Who would you love to see in one of those houses trying to contend for a girl's affections?
Who asked that question?
Biggest.
Fucking hell, cunt. Like, you get a pass because you're a nice guy. But that doesn't entitle you to wholesale fucking scunge cunt lapses in judgment. Just because something is there, don't be a part of it. Choose not to engage. Choose not to know what it is. Choose not to know how it works. That shit is aimed at the lowest common denominator. It's aimed at the fucking Robbie Farahs of society. Be better. Let's fucking pretend that question didn't exist, and we can all go back to this nice normalcy of pretending that there's not a giant fucking elephant in the room next time you're at the meetup.
You know what? Those shows are designed for those diseased fucking toilets that flew in from fucking Victoria.
Fucking 100%.
Now look, while we're handing out bouquets and brickbats for Biggest...
No, Biggest, there is a very fucking good friend of yours that works in the entertainment industry that can tell you fucking horrific stories. Like, everyone sort of goes into those things thinking those shows are a little bit manufactured. He can tell you stories that would fucking chill your teeth about just how manufactured those things are. Like, they worry me more than fucking millennials, more than TikTok, more than the Chinese government creating fucking bat viruses in a lab and releasing them as a pseudo trade war. Those shows will do more for the death of humanity than carbon emissions ever will.
I feel that question's been asked and answered now. Now, while we're on the subject of Biggest, though, I did get a package in the mail on
the books
Monday or Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he was sending them. Fuck yeah.
Addressed to the TWiL dads, and it's a collection of little self-produced rugby league books by Biggest for the little tigers of the world, and it's like a substantial collection of little books that obviously you can see next week or next time you're actually over here. But we've got titles such as Rugby League, the alphabet. So, for example, it's A is for Alfie, Alexander, and awards. B is for Broncos, Bulldogs, and Beatson, etc., etc. We've got our Rugby League shapes. So talks about shapes like an oval and pentagon and all this sort of thing. Rugby league numbers, rugby league colours. Incy Wincy Spider loves rugby league, and so on. And he sent us like a good, what is it, 7 or 8, 9 little books he's created.
Yes.
So honestly, great stuff, fella. Thank you. And also, if anyone listening to the show happens to be in a publishing capacity or work for similar, let us know and we'll connect you, because you never know, you might be onto something.
And like really in a fucking publishing capacity.
Yeah.
Not like you cunts that say you actually, you're in a fucking chicken crimpy capacity and give me fucking biscuity blue balls. You shit cunts. Actual fucking publishers.
Yeah.
Amazon.com ebook Kindle edition doesn't count.
Correct. Exactly. And that is it for the mailbag. I did have the tipping competition standings up here at the moment. And again, King Kong. What is it, training day? Nobody has shit on King Kong at this stage in the tipping competition. He's where is it? I've lost my little chart. Here it is. King Kong has a he didn't have a great round. He only got 6, where I feel like a bunch of people probably should have got more than that, but he maintains his lead. We go on. Where's the table here? Just lost my place there with the table. Let me just get it back. Fucking computer's doing strange things. Alright, here we go. So yeah, King Kong on top, still maintaining a 2-point lead over 6 again, and then we go back again to Knights undefeated * Crusade, Andy, Sneaky Kiwi, Benny 89, Matt, Panthers cameraman, Honor Blood Buzz, and Mrs. Whistle. And then we got a bunch of other people in there that are only like tied out of the. We go down to number 17. And they're out of the 10 on for and against alone. So, once again, a good competition. Best luck to everyone. Make sure you get your tips in next week. And that is it for episode 361. Thanks again for listening, everybody. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at TWiL League. Our Facebook community, best place to be, facebook.com/groups/TWiL Nation. Otherwise, just get into Facebook. Throw out a search there, search for #TWiL Nation, and you will find it. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/This Week in League. Check that for episode releases each week, and hit the like button, share the post around. We'd love you long time. And if you'd like to support the show, make sure you drop us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. And if you want to go the extra mile, our digital memberships are still available and can be picked up anytime for only $3.99 a month. And of course, we've got our trial run with our biggest ever sponsor next week. So if you're a Digi member, we'll reveal it on the show this week. Otherwise, next week, guys, it's all happening.
That's it. Mobilize, motherfuckers.
Do you have anything else that you would like to cover off before we pull the pin? And
fucking
it's getting late. Jesus Christ.
Don't fucking fly around and then lie about where you've been.
You know what? Yeah, first thing, just don't. How about not fly around? Just don't.
Yeah.
In the first place. And if you do, if you must, if you're essential, it's essential for you to go down to these diseased fucking zombie-infested hellholes, then by all means do it. Do your job. Make that cheddar. Do the Lord's work, whatever the fuck you're doing. But when you come back in, stay the fuck away from the shops at Logan and Springfield, will you?
Exactly.
Because you're fucking it up for everyone. And finally, build a wall along the Brisbane River. Fuck it. Just build a wall and just lock the south of Brisbane out.
Yes.
South of Brisbane, you're now as dead to me as fucking south of New South Wales is.
Yes.
Sons of bitches.
The South Brisbane Rabbitohs.
South Brisbane, AFL capital of Australia.
Fucking hell.
Victorian fucking dirtbags. See you next week.
Later.